Hey, how's it going? On February 20th, Joe Biden is going to be traveling to Poland. He's going to meet with President Duda in Poland, in Warsaw, and apparently also Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, will also be there at this meeting. That's very interesting. At the same time, there are rumors, and I hate to put these rumors out there because I don't know how much credence to give them, but a lot of times rumors turn out to be true. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire. The rumor is that in the next 10 days, by or before February 25th, the Poles are going to launch an offensive into Belarus. That's the rumor. And it's coming from a number of different sources, and I've been sort of trying to track it down, but it's unclear where it's coming from. Because if it were one source, well, then okay, then it's probably bullshit. But it seems to be coming from different areas of the interwebs, if you will. So I don't know how much credence to give it. And yet at the same time, there's something else today that sort of like piqued my interest. Ben Wallace, the Minister of Defense for Great Britain, he said that the Russians had committed 97% of their total forces to the Ukraine conflict. You know, that's not accurate by any stretch of the imagination. He also said something that the Russians are only up to 40% combat effectiveness. That is also just not true at all. And so I'm wondering if this disinformation is laying the groundwork to basically say that, oh yeah, the Russians are kind of beat, and so the Poles are going to waltz into Belarus and open up a second front against Russia. I mean, as I'm telling you this, it seems harebrained, okay? It seems insane. And ordinarily, I wouldn't be making this video and talking about this craziness, because it's just insane and stupid. But the thing is, see, we have the Nord Stream bombings now, don't we? Where the Americans deliberately carried out an act of state-sponsored terrorism against the German state and the German people and destroyed their economy very deliberately. And so now, I'm thinking anything is possible. This insane idea that the Poles would go into Belarus. Now, why would they go into Belarus is very simple, because you see, the Polish leadership class wants to retake the area of Galicia, a historically Polish area of Eastern Europe that is currently split up between what is now Belarus and what is now Ukraine. The city of Lviv, which is about 60 kilometers from the border with Poland, that used to be the capital of the area of Galicia, and historically it's very important to the Poles. And so, the Poles have this hankering for Galicia. It's all they think about. And, if you can tell, I'm very uncomfortable passing along this rumor because it's just unverified bullshit. And yet at the same time, it could be true. I did a video a couple of weeks ago, I think, where I basically said that, maybe Poland will become the next proxy in this war against Russia. Now, this meeting that Biden is going to be holding with Duda and Zelensky, they're supposed to be talking about, there's going to be more support, NATO support for Ukraine, and that one of the items apparently is that they're going to hand over some old Soviet aircraft or something like that. I'm not too clear on the details. It's not important. The important thing is sort of like the big picture, and sort of like trying to read the tea leaves. Something's up. Now, it could be that this meeting, which, as I said before, is going to take place on February 20th through the 22nd, it could be nothing. It could be that they just gather around and they just kvetch and bullshit and, more sanctions and more support, Slava Ukraini forever and all that shit, and nothing much comes of it. But it seems to me that if this rumor is true, it would actually be like they're like the three leaders gathering together to show their resolve against Russian aggression, and it would be Polish aggression, invading Belarus and drawing Belarus into this conflict. And there's something else too. See, the Russians currently have 150,000 very well-armed troops in Belarus, at least 150,000. They've been positioning these troops just to the north of the Ukraine border. And there are a lot of rumors as to what this force is supposed to do, whether it's supposed to invade, whether it's a fixing operation, or all of the above, who knows. But the point is they have these troops, and this is confirmed. And these guys are loaded up to the gills with planes, helicopters, tanks, artillery especially. And so you're like, what the fuck is going on? Because, the Poles back in November, they called up 200,000 conscripts to man the Polish army. Now, those 200,000 men, it's going to take at least, 4 to 6 months to have them trained to be effective in any kind of capacity. But, maybe something has happened. Maybe they do have them. Maybe they're going to roll the dice and see what happens. I mean, I don't really know. And so I'm just putting out this video so that you pay attention to this particular facet of the conflict. Because clearly something is coming from Poland. Poland is just itching to get into this conflict. Poland, like I said, wants Galicia. Poland hates the Russians, or the Polish leadership at least, hates the Russians. The Polish leadership class, they're all on board with the Washington program of proxy wars, expansion of NATO, the whole shebang. I mean, they're just as much of warmongers as the people back in Washington. So I don't know what to tell you, but something seems to be coming down. Now let's hope that wiser heads prevail in Poland. And if this idea has been floated seriously, that they sort of like wake up and say, no, we don't want any part of this conflict. But maybe they do. Maybe. Understand what's going on.